NSPN.TV, in partnership with the Minnesota State High School League, brings you coverage of the 2023 State Baseball Tournament. Coverage is made possible by the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction, transforming lives. By your local McDonald's owners and operators, offering competitive wages, paid time off, and tuition assistance. And by the Star Tribune, your home for the best prep coverage.
All right, Pat, we've already had one beauty today. Boston takes down Lyle Pacelli 3-2 in the Class A championship game, and certainly expect nothing less than a tightly contested game here. But we've got the one unseeded team crashing the party here in this state tournament, as seeded teams in both A, 3A, and 4A, but the one unseeded team that made it their way to this state championship game, the Purim Yellow Jackets, taking on the number one overall seed in this Class 2A tournament, Esko. So kind of a bit of a David and Goliath matchup here in this one.
Sounds like they should be nicknamed maybe the Rabbits from South Dakota State after the first two games. Why don't you let them know a little bit about how they snuck in here?
Yeah, absolutely crazy tournament up at Putz Field in St. Cloud to get to this point in the tournament. Purim came in unseeded. They took on the number 3 seed Foley, and they were down 4-1 going into the top half of the 7th inning and pulling rabbits out of their hat at every turn. They stranded 15 Foley base runners through 7 innings, and then came up with a little luck bounce of the ball. The right fielder and the center fielder collided, turned into a double, a strikeout that went between the catcher's legs, back to the backstop, saved another out, and the next thing you know, we were tied at 4 going to extra innings, stranded a bunch more Foley base runners, came up with 3 runs in the top of the 12th to win it 7-4. And then who sits and awaits but the defending state champions and the number 2 seed Fairmont Cardinals, who had strung 15 hits and scored 10 runs in beating Belle Plaine in the opener. So you got to figure 12 innings, what are they going to have left in the gas tank? Oh, no, they just stranded 7 runners for the first 3 innings, left 2 on in the first, bases loaded in the second, 2 more on in the third, survived and came away with a 3-2 victory over Fairmont to make it here to this state championship game. Like you said, maybe they should be the Yellow Cats, because if a cat has 9 lives, they used up a lot of them there at Dick Putz Field. But you know what? This is baseball, and that's why they play the games, and anything can happen on any given day. So even though you've got the number 1 seed here in Esko, who comes in with this vaunted offense, averaging 11 runs per game through the regular season in sections, outscored their opponents 278-37 over the course of the regular season, 59-11 in sections. So you figure here comes this high-powered offense. Well, they got 4 hits and just squeaked by St. Agnes 1-0. They get a complete game 2-hitter from Cole Hagan on the mound. And then in the semifinal victory over Belle Plaine, they hold them to 1 run. So it's just been pitching that's taken over for Esko here in the state tournament. Just 8 hits in 2 games for Esko, 8 runs, and 4 of them coming on 1 swing of the bat, as junior third baseman Isaac Surdich capped off that 7-2 victory over Belle Plaine with a 4th inning grand slam that just kind of opened up the game, and they were able to hold on and win the game 7-2 to advance to this championship matchup against Purim.
Well, there's a reason Esko's the number 1 seed. Combination of all that hitting and pitching. Put it together, that's why you're sitting here on Friday.
Yeah, Cale Hagan with that 2-hitter, and then Finn Furch gives up 2 runs to the first 2 batters of the game against Belle Plaine. So you think, wow, here Belle Plaine going to really apply some pressure to this number 1 seed, and how will they handle it? Well, all Finn Furch did is settle down and strike out 11 the rest of the way, going 6 1/3 innings. He hit his pitch count, and they brought in who will be today's starting pitcher for Esko, Dylan Marshallonis, to get the last 2 outs of the game. And now they'll hand the ball off to Marshallonis to take on Purim here in the state championship game. And looking at the statistics, for Esko, Marshallonis has been their top pitcher, comes in with a 0.83 earned run average, 4-0 on the season. So certainly a treat to get almost a complete game out of both of your starters in that quarterfinal and semifinal victory, and be able to have probably your top statistical pitcher to go in the state championship game.
It's a beautiful day here at CHS Field. Say the other day we had a third-place game canceled between Minnetonka and Edina in the 4A because the smoke was so bad in the air. I could feel it in my voice in broadcasting the game. So I understand why they would have canceled the other day. I can't imagine if it had been the state track meet what they would have done. I wouldn't have wanted to have been the two-miler.
Yeah, we had some smoke up in St. Cloud for the games up there in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, but we were able to get our third place game in, and Fairmont, who is a very tough luck loser to Perham in that semifinal game. In fact, in the bottom half of the fifth inning, they're down by 2 runs. They had runners at first and second, and their number 7 hitter hits one over the center fielder's head, and one hops off the wall, and at the fence in Dick Putz Field, they have ivy, and the ball got hung up in the ivy for about a second and then dropped down. The fielder played it like you're told to do in the ground rules there, sent it in, but when that ball got hung up for a second, the third base umpire, who was in the middle of the field, put his hands up and called it a ground rule double. So they actually brought the tying run out of the dugout, put it back onto third base, and then right fielder senior Colin Colleton made a sliding catch to, again, keep Perham alive. And as Jimmy Valvano said it so well, survive and advance, and that's absolutely what the Yellow Jackets have done here in this state tournament. So it looks like our umpires and our managers are down exchanging lineups, going over the ground rules here at CHS Field. And I know they used to play these games at Target Field, and what an experience that is for the players to play on the home of the Minnesota Twins. But I just love the intimacy here of CHS Field versus, more of the cavernous feel of Target Field.
This field, for me, is such a better setting because it is so much more intimate. Obviously it doesn't take as big a crowd to really give you atmosphere, and watch a little of that Class A game. There was plenty of atmosphere here in this ballpark.
Yeah, I certainly love it. And now with the, the AAA St. Paul Saints paying here, it's a better feel. So let's turn things over to our public addresser, Lee Adams, who will introduce the teams for this afternoon's matchup.
Number 7, Cal Berglund. Number 8, Caden Grayson. Number 9, Owen Wilson. Number 12, Noah Wells. Number 20, Jameis Halverson. Number 23, Leo Luenzi. Number 24, Jackson Peterson. And number 25, Trent Andras. Student managers for Esko, Talon Kaminsky and Declan Sullivan. And now the starters. In center field, Sam Haugen. In left field, Ty Christensen. At shortstop, Cale Haugen. At third base, Isaac Sertich. The catcher, Bryce Hipp. Right fielder, Finn Furch. Designated hitter, Bobby Thornton. Second baseman, Connor Pierce. Pitcher, Dylan Marshallonis. And first baseman, A.J. Kazel. The head coach of Esko is Ben Haugen. With assistants Tom Zabachnik and Dave Furch. Carter Northey. There they are, the Esko Eskimos. And now the home team, Parham Yellow Jacket. The non-starters, number 3, Dane Hellickson. And number 4, Campbell Pye. Number 7, Ty Rooney. And number 14, Braden Anderson. Number 15, Drew Ellingson. And number 16, Joey Ecker. Number 17, Cullen Poole. Number 19, Omar Briseno. And number 21, Tate Zacharias. And number 22, Mason Dolan. And now the starters. Left fielder, Gavin Griffin. Third baseman, Blaze Schmidt. Catcher, Ben Shemansky. Shortstop, Evan Kovash. Center fielder, Gage Onenson. Austin Schmel. Number 10, Ashton Jetlock. Number 13, designated hitter Brock Milgard. And number 2, second baseman Seth Urbach. And number 9, right fielder Connor Colleton. The head coach of Perrin, James Mulcahy. And assistant coaches TJ Super, Alec Meyer, and Jake Olson. There they are, the Parham Yellow Jackets. Good luck to both teams. Let's play some baseball.
So, Ron, when do you figure the last time two teams from north of St. Cloud played in a state championship baseball game?
Well, North is certainly on display as Boston just won the Class A, so we're going to have two teams from north of St. Cloud take a championship trophy north. About 175 miles separate these two towns. Jump on Highway 210 and head east from Perham, and you would find yourself in Esko. So, yes, representing the north part of the state very well here in this state tournament. Last year it was Fairmont from the south who came away with the state championship, and they were back to defend and certainly looked like they might be in good position to get back to this game. But the Perham Yellow Jackets, they just somehow, some way, just keep on winning, and here they find themselves in this state championship game. And again, taking on an Esko team that over the course of the regular season scored in double figures 16 times and come in here with a team batting average of 346, team on base percentage of 469. So just about every other guy that comes up to the plate statistically gets on base. Again, beautiful day here at CHS Field for 4 state championship games. One trophy's been handed out. We'll hand out another one here in Class 2A. 77 degrees here at first pitch. Wind out of the southeast at 8 miles an hour, so really weather should not play any factor at all in the outcome of this one.
The thing it will affect here is the wind is coming in out of the right field side of the stadium, so the ball might carry a little bit to the left field corner and blow maybe a little bit away from the right fielder if it gets in the gap, but it's going to knock down most balls hitting the air anywhere on that side of second base.
So it'll be the junior, Austin Schmelz, who will get the ball here for Perham, and he faces the first three batters in the order. Gavin Griffin, let's flip the scorecard over. Sam Haugen, Ty Christensen, and Cole Haugen, whose batting average on the season is .550, 10 home runs and 45 RBIs out of that number 3 spot in the order for Esko, and we are underway, and the first pitch misses. Now a fly ball out into right field. Colleton slips a little bit, now has to retreat. So Colleton came in a couple of steps, decided he needed to go back, slipped a little bit on the grass out there, but recovered in time to make the catch, and they get Sam Haugen for the first out of the game.
Looked like a rain dance out there. Let's hope it doesn't bring any today.
We could use some, but not today.
Not today.
Let's wait until after that 4A championship game and let it rain all at once. Now here's Ty Christensen, 2-hitter in the order for Esko. .338 batting average on the season coming in.
Regular season stats had 15 strikeouts to 3 walks for Schmelz, so he throws strikes.
Really, that's important here. Don't give those free base runners, especially to an offense here like Esko. That's where you find yourself in trouble with those free passes. Line drive, looper out into left field, and that's going to fall in front of Gavin Griffin. So Ty Christensen went up, got on top of that high fastball from Schmelz and pulled it into left field for a base hit. Now, looking at their statistics, a little bit surprised to see that one of the things that Esko really doesn't employ much is the running game. Just 14 for 19, and only 2 different players attempted a stolen base on the season for Esko. But when you're winning a lot of games by 10 runs and scoring double digits, you also don't need to activate that running game as much. Haugen swings and grounds this one foul up the first base line, especially here in this situation with your number 3 hitter, Cale Haugen, at .550 batting average. You don't necessarily want to steal a base and take that hole away on the right side, as the first baseman Detloff has to hold the base runner on first base. 2
factors for sure. The fact that they scored so many runs they probably didn't need to run. And 2, when you're getting on base 47% of the time, we're going to have plenty of runners. We don't need to send them.
Yeah, really no reason to risk running into an out when there's a 50-50 chance the guy behind you is going to get on base.
And you're right, it does open up the right side of that infield if you look out there.
So Schmelz steps off and just keeps Christensen honest over there at first base, and his fastball misses up and away. So even count now at 1 ball, 1 strike. So Sam Haugen, the sophomore, led it off, and now the senior, Cale Haugen. Really good secondary lead over there for Christensen as the curveball catches the inside corner. Good pitch from Schmelz there at 1-1. So now ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's got a sizable lead down there at first base. I can't imagine if he wouldn't think about going if he gets a decent jump.
And certainly anything to the right side, but this one's rolled over. They'll go to second, get the lead runner there, back to first, and Cale Haugen is able to beat the throw, stay out of the double play. Good job over there at second base. Urbach gets that lead runner to Evan Kovash covering at short, so it'll be 4-6, on the force out of Christensen, and Cale Haugen will take over as the runner at first base. And here's Isaac Surdich. As mentioned at the top, it was Surdich with that grand slam home run that helped kind of blow things open for Esko in their semifinal victory over Belle Plaine. His big fly to left banked off the top of the scoreboard. Now jammed here, pops it up in the infield. Urbach comes over to the shortstop side of second base, calls off Kovash and makes the catch. So scoreless top half of inning number 1 for Perham. Just what you want to do. Carry that momentum that they've been building back there in St. Cloud, right here to CHS Field. Set down that top of the order for Esko and get your team into the dugout and try to get a lead and put some pressure on this number 1 ranked team in Class 2A in Esko.
Didn't need the rabbit's foot quite yet.
Nope. Sometimes it's better to just take care of business yourself and not rely on lady luck, but certainly, again, you don't want to call any team lucky for making it to a state championship game. You don't get here just based on luck itself. But boy, they did everything that they needed to do correctly and right in order to put themselves in position to win this game, because you find yourself behind 3 runs to the number 3 seeded team in your bracket. Not many times do you think a team unseeded is going to come back in that situation, but this never say die Perham Yellow Jackets team somehow scratched and clawed their way to 3 runs, held Foley in check for 5 more at-bats, and finally came through with 3 runs. And really it's been Blaze Schmidt, Ben Szymanski, and Evan Kovash in that 2, 3, and 4 spots in the order. In fact, Blaze Schmidt at the number 2 spot has been on base 9 of the 10 times that he has stepped into the batter's box for the Perham Yellow Jackets in their opening game victory. He came to the plate 6 times, and he ended up at first base 6 times. 2 singles, 3 walks, and hit by a pitch. So on base all 6 times in that 7-4 win over Foley, and then found himself on base 3 out of 4 times. Twice on errors by the shortstop from Fairmont, but hey, put the ball in play, and good things happen. So Gavin Griffin, the 8th grader, will lead things off here for Perham. And first pitch swinging, lifts it to right field. Long run over there, and not able to get it just before getting to the short right wall is the right fielder, Finn Furch.
He had to go a long way for that baseball, and it landed in play, but it was right at the corner where the fence shuts out. It would have been an unbelievably great catch.
Yeah, against a right-handed batter, probably shading a little bit over towards that right center field gap. So a long run for Furch and just not able to run it down, but it is strike 1 for Marshallonis. Breaking ball catches the letter, so ahead in the count to the leadoff batter here for Perham, Gavin Griffin. Again, just the 8th grader, but confidence there by your head coach to put an 8th grader at the top of the lineup. But climbing the ladder there, Marshallonis gets Griffin to chase one upstairs and swings through it. So 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out recorded, and now they'll have to deal with Blaze Schmidt and see if Esko can't do a better job of keeping Schmidt off of the base paths that both Fairmont and Foley were unable to do in the quarterfinal and semifinal rounds of this Class 2A state tournament. And the first pitch misses outside for a ball. You had the 4A tournament, I had the 2A tournament, and we saw a lot of pitches, and I really liked the consistency that I saw from the umpires up in St. Cloud.
Both the games I had here, they give that outside corner. You watch from your vantage point there, you're looking right down the left-handed batter's box. They tend to give that outside corner pitch, but they were consistently giving it to all the pitchers.
Yeah, and it's high school baseball. The idea is to get them up there swinging. If the pitch misses badly, like that 1-1 offering did to Blaze Schmidt, then call it the ball, but certainly want to give the benefit to the pitchers here at this high school level, especially with that pitch count coming into play for a lot of these pitchers. And 3 games in 4 days certainly going to test your pitching depth for any team, so you don't get here just on the back of 1 or 2 pitchers. But now this 3rd game in 4 days is going to test you. 3-1 offering is shot out into right field, and what else is new? Blaze Schmidt is going to find himself standing at first base after standing in the batter's box here in this state tournament. 10 times out of 11 trips to the plate, he's found himself over there at first base.
Like that kind of batter at the top of your order for sure, getting on for your power guys. It'll be interesting to watch balls hit to right field, because that one that was out there in the foul ball blew away from the right fielder. That one got knocked down by the wind. So it'll be interesting to see the tricks. You saw the ball in the top of the first inning that the right fielder for Perham had to dance around before he caught it. So it'll be interesting to see watching the right field play today.
So Marshall Onis has to work from the stretch now for the first time today and fires one off on the outside corner to Szymanski. Swing and a miss. So working away from Szymanski here. First two pitches right on the outside part of the plate. Szymanski took the first one for a called strike and then swings through that one. So no balls and 2 strikes. We'll keep an eye on Schmidt here. Good running count here at no balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. So you sandwich a base hit to right off the bat of Blaze Schmidt between 2 3-pitch strikeouts for Marshall Onis of Griffin and Szymanski. Szymanski had been 3 for 10 coming in, but 2 of his outs were very loud outs. He hit one right to the base of the left field wall against Fairmont. That was not far from going out of the ballpark. So big strikeout there with Schmidt at first, but now he'll have to deal with Evan Kovash, who is 4 for 8 so far here in this state tournament with 2 RBIs. It was his double in the top half of the 12th that helped Perham beat Foley. So the first left-handed batter in the lineup that Marshall Onis will face is the senior shortstop Evan Kovash. He takes a pitch up and away and then fouls that one back out of play down that third base line. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Doesn't look like Marshall Onis is at all uncomfortable working from the stretch here for the first time.
He's throwing strikes for sure.
Yeah, 3 straight to Szymanski, and now strike 2, foul tip to the glove of Hip. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Kazel at first, Pierce at second, Cale Haugen at short, Sertich at third base, Christensen, Sam Haugen, and Finn Furch left to right in the outfield. Hip behind the plate defensively for Marshall Onis, and that curveball just stays up in the zone. So 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Good running count for Blaze Schmidt. We'll keep an eye on him over there at first base. Doesn't have a great lead, just takes his secondary. But now up and in to Kovash, run the count full, and Schmidt will get a running start from first. So Kazel, the first baseman, will step back and play behind the runner, especially with that left-handed batter up, cut off that hole in between first and second base. And the pitch is high for a ball. So Kovash does a nice job working the count there.
You look at Kovash's stats on the season. It was .515 coming into the state tournament. You look at those pants. That's a guy who gets on base a lot. You look at the dirt on his pants. That's a player.
And again, they will play behind Kovash here with Kazel, with the number 5 hitter, Gage Onenson. Onenson had 3 RBIs in the 2 victories up in St. Cloud. So good man to have up in the batter's box here with Blaze Schmidt at second base. Potential first run of the game in scoring position here for Onenson, who takes a strike on the outside corner. Marshall Onis, a little bit longer hold there, trying to take the timing away from the base runners. And Onenson fouls that one straight back to the screen. Good crowd gathered here behind the dugouts. Support for both teams. Esko fans on their feet trying to get out of this first inning, and that one goes over the head of Onenson all the way to the backstop. Comes right back to Finn, but not before the runners move up, and now potential for Onenson to maybe drive in a couple with a base hit to the outfield. So you want to be careful with that 0-2 waste pitch. Sometimes you get a little too cute with it. Send it to the backstop and give that free base to those base runners.
That was Randy Johnson against John Kruk in the All-Star game.
Well, chopper up the first baseline. It's going to be a race to the base, and Kazel is able to beat a diving Gage Onenson to the base. Touch the base, and a little bit of a taste of their own medicine there as Perham strands 2 runners at second and third in the bottom half of inning number 1. So we're through 1 inning of play here from CHS Field in St. Paul. It's the Class 2A State Baseball Championship game on the Neighborhood Sports Network.
Yes to 54.
Good thing about going to college through McDonald's is it's totally free for me. And everything is through the Archways opportunity, so I don't have to pay a single dime about my school, and I'm getting educated. By working at McDonald's, I have learned a little bit about human resources, inventory, and my time management too.
Text APPLY to 38000 or visit mcdonalds.com/careers.
And Thornton for Esko here in the top half of inning number 2. Perham was able to get runners to second and third, but we'll ground out over to the first baseman, Kazel. Kazel is the defensive player. He is the one who will be the designated hitter will bat for, and Bobby Thornton scheduled for third here. So Esko featuring a fairly young lineup. First pitch swinging. Bryce Hipp skies it to center field. And again, Onenson has to drift to his left. So that wind, even though it's only listed at 8 miles an hour at the start, does seem to be wreaking a little bit of havoc with that baseball.
The games here the other day in the 4A, there was a pop-up hit over the Twin City Orthopedics sign down there in the field between home and third. The ball blew from there to the coach's box and landed fair just inside the base. So the wind must swirl down in this part of St. Paul, because you'll see it. You saw the right fielder dancing around the first ball, Colleton out in right field. So there's definitely some swirl in this ballpark.
Yeah, and Onenson had to drift a couple of steps to his left as that ball was coming down. Maybe it's the airplanes from Holman Field that wreak a little havoc as they come in to land over there in a beautiful little airport right down by the river. So Ferk takes called strike on the first offering. Big cut. Fouled that one back off of Szymanski. So firing strikes here. Austin Schmelz for Perham. The other thing I like to see here in high school baseball is they get that ball back and they're ready to pitch.
It's such a better game to watch now in the major leagues, which the pitch clock, which we don't need at this level because they're doing just fine. It's so much more fun to watch the game. You're more engaged all the time.
Curveball spins outside. Ferk doesn't go chasing and chops another one back, foul. So Finn Furch staying alive here. 1 ball, 2 strike count, trying to get a base runner. Esko did get 1 base runner in the first. 1 out single from Ty Christensen, but he was erased on a ground ball force out by Haugen, and then Sertich popped out to second to end the inning. Swing and a miss. So first strikeout for Austin Schmelz is Finn Furch, and he will head back to the dugout, and Bobby Thornton will step in.
It's interesting, the contrast around looking at this lineup. They've got 2 seniors in the starting lineup batting. I had the Rosemount the other day. They had 2 juniors. All the rest of their players were seniors.
There's a line drive. It's hooking away from the glove of Detloff, and it tips off the edge of his glove and will roll down over by the tarp. Colleton will have to run over and play it there, and by the time he gets it back in, at second base is Bobby Thornton. I'm going to take a look, and still haven't seen a ruling up on the board yet. An error hasn't been put up, nor has an additional hit in the hits column for Esko, so they must be talking things over.
Put it up as an error on the board now.
So they did charge an error on the first baseman, Detloff. It was a hard hit ball off the bat of Bobby Thornton, pulled hard over towards Detloff. The left-handed throwing Detloff with the glove on that right hand had to reach across his body, and with that ball hooking down that line, it just tipped off the end of his glove. Turns into a 2-base error, and now Esko with an opportunity here with Connor Pierce The left-handed batting second baseman, the sophomore, has an opportunity to potentially plate the game's first run. Little looper out into left field. That's down for a base hit. Played on a hop by Griffin. Here comes his throw to the plate, and a diving Bobby Thornton is safe. Just beat the throw from Griffin. It was a good throw by the left fielder. One hop to Szymanski, but Szymanski had to come out in front of the plate just a little bit and was not able to get it in time to try to apply the tag to Bobby Thornton. So Connor Pierce taking advantage of that error charge to the first baseman. Detlef hit just a little looper out into left field. It fell in for a base hit, and with 2 outs, Thornton was able to go off the crack of the bat. Aggressive base running sent by Coach Haugen from third, and he scored diving safely into the plate, and Esko has themselves a 1-0 lead.
Coach Mulcahy from Perham had him appeal at third base. Thought maybe he missed third base coming around to score, but the umpires looked at each other and called it safe.
3-man crew here in these state tournament games, and as I mentioned, I was very impressed with the balls and strikes, especially in that 12-inning game of Foley and Perham. That poor umpire had to be seeing baseballs in his sleep that night for the number of pitches that he had to call, given that Foley stranded 21 base runners in 12 innings. They had runners all over like a merry-go-round, but somehow, some way, Perham was able to avoid any damage. So 1-1 count here to Dylan Marshallonis. On the throw to the plate, very alertly, Connor Pierce was able to move up a base to second. So now he's in scoring position here for Marshallonis, trying to help himself and maybe tack another run on here in the top half of inning number 2. Good curveball there, but it just misses low in the zone. Certainly we can see from our vantage point up here. That definitely got a lot of the plate, but definitely must have missed down low. So now 3 balls and 1 strike. Marshallonis, the number 9 hitter in the order, leadoff batter Sam Haugen, waits on deck, and a high pop-up in the infield. Detlef having trouble with it, and he can't come up with it. Runner's going to head for second. Nobody is covering. So again, this high pop-up and that swirling wind that you talk about, Detlef and Szymanski really didn't communicate well early. Detlef got a late break on it, and by the time he was able to get his glove out, wasn't able to secure the baseball. I think they're probably going to charge another error here too.
Said I've seen 3 games here so far this week, and there is no doubt about it. The wind swirls in this place because it isn't blowing that hard, but it's definitely swirling because that ball normally would be an easy catch.
So they are going to give Marshallonis a hit on the play.
No, he didn't touch the ball.
Yeah, so about a 65-foot double for Marshallonis there. Very alertly saw that nobody was covering second base. Took off. They did throw it to Kovash, but he was out in front of the base, not covering second base. So by the time Detlef came up with it and got it to Kovash, hustling Dylan Marshallonis. Give him credit for hustling down the line, because it would have been easy to be frustrated thinking you had made the 3rd out of the inning, but he hustled off the bat and was able to get into second base. Now runners at second and third for Sam Haugen, who fouls that one straight back over the screen and out of play, and right back with a curveball in for a strike. So with runners now at second and third, Austin Schmelz, working from the windup, really has to bear down and try to hold this to just a 1-0 deficit with the top of the order up here for Esko. Swing and a foul tip to the glove, held on by Szymanski, so they minimize the damage. Strand another couple of runners. That's 3 left on base for Esko through just their first 2 at-bats. A big strikeout for Schmelz there, because a big base hit there from Haugen and a 3-0 lead, and suddenly you find yourself on the heels. But now Perham almost has to feel like they've gained a little momentum, stranding a couple of more runners, and see if they can't take advantage of that situation in the bottom half of inning number 2.
It's interesting watching as much as Marshall Ennis hustled to second. I wasn't watching the runner on second, who ended up only at third base, because that ball was a gallo, is what they're calling it now in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
When he hit the high pop-up, you would have thought maybe he could have scored had he been hustling all the way. But I say I wasn't watching him, so I can't tell.
Yeah, same. I kind of was going to make mention that as well, that when the batter can go from home to second, one would think that a runner could go from second to home.
With 2 outs,
same
for sure.
play
He'd
with
been
2
moving
outs.
on the pitch.
Yep, but again, maybe with the top of the order up, discretion the better part of valor. You don't want to run into an out at home plate. Maybe give that top of the order a chance to drive in a run. But Perham so far has been the master at stranding base runners here in this one. 30 through their first 19 innings of their opponents' at-bats in this Class 2A state tournament, and now make it 33 through 21 at-bats. So they're just not comfortable unless somebody's on base.
More entertaining for their fans.
Oh, absolutely. Kind of like a Brett Favre completion. Oh, no, Bobby, it's a lot better to force it into triple coverage than it is to just make the conventional throw. So it'll be Schmelz, Detlef, and Melgard to face Marshallonis here in the bottom half of inning number 2. And swing and a miss by Schmelz. 0-2 count. On the outside corner for called strike 3, and I think that's that pitch you kind of alluded to earlier, Pat. Just maybe a titch off the outside corner, but if you're going to consistently call it, good job by Marshallonis to just nibble out there and maybe get the call, and he got it with called strike 3 on Schmelz.
Say that seems to be where the umpire set up, is over that corner, and they definitely tend to give it to the pitcher, it seems.
Detlef drops the barrel of the bat on this one, goes the opposite way, but it just slices foul down that left field line. So Ashton Detlef, the left-handed batting sophomore first baseman for Perham, had a little bit of a difficult top half of the inning in the field, so trying to make a tones here and get on base for Perham. 3 strikeouts in the game for Marshallonis, and all 3 have been on 3 pitches, so that's a way to keep your pitch count down, is minimize the amount of pitches you throw on strikeouts, because you have a big strikeout game. Finn Furch had 11 strikeouts, and then he had to come out after 6 1/3 innings because he hit that mandatory pitch count. So you want to be efficient and proficient as you can be, and right now Marshallonis is certainly doing that, striking out 3 batters on 9 pitches. But misses on these next 2 offerings to Detlef, so 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm really hoping we didn't miss anything in that top of the inning.
I know
Pat.
we didn't.
They've
The
got 2
scoreboard
runs on
says
the
2
board out
runs.
there.
It was only 1.
I'm
Maybe they
looking at
thought
my-
it should have been 2.
Yeah, right.
Had he scored on
They're
the
talking
pop
about
up.
what we talked about. Why didn't that runner from second come around to score? But I think the rules of baseball say you actually have to touch home plate before the 3rd out is recorded for the run to count.
That's what I'm going with.
So we'll go with our score, 1-0. Detlef swings and misses at that 3-1 pitch. So Marshallonis down in the count, 3-1 to Detlef, challenges him with a fastball there and was able to get it by. Marshallonis did walk Kovash, the other left-handed batter he faced. Now here's a chopper charged at second base. Pierce gets it on that short hop. Good job by second baseman Connor Pierce, the sophomore. Didn't stay back and let that ball play him. He charged it, played it on that short hop, and made the short throw over to Kazel to get the 2nd out.
I was telling you, Ron, they water the field for each game, but I had games here the other day. The infield is rock hard. You'll see it on the hops, and the ball they called in air on the first baseman was a hard hit ball that took the big hop on him. So watch the bounces out on this infield today. There's some tricky ones.
Yeah, and certainly I would think both coaches have made their fielders aware of that. And be aggressive. Charge that ball. Don't let it play you, because that 2nd and 3rd hop on a hard infield like this can certainly take any sort of a ricochet, and the next thing you know, it's a 2-base error, and your pitcher who should have an out is now having to try to work out of a jam, and Brock Melgard, the junior designated hitter, swings and misses at the 1-1 offering. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Melgard. Marshallonis challenges him right there with that 1-2 fastball. Just came right over the heart of the plate. Melgard put a good swing on it, but just fouled it right straight back. So after getting 2 base runners on, as far as second and third in the top of the first, Marshallonis is trying to get out of this inning and will do so with called strike 3. So went back to that outside corner, and 2 called strikes in that bottom half of inning number 2 for Marshallonis and Esko, and they will take what we believe is a 1-0 lead into the top half of inning number 3, back to CHS Field in the Class 2A State Baseball Championship game after this timeout.
Star Tribune covers high school sports as passionately as you live them. Don't miss a beat on the games you love. Check out Star Tribune all day, every day for the latest prep news, scores, and so much more.
All right, so one of us might have to run over and check what's going on over a couple of booths down where they've got the scoreboard and the official score, just to make sure that we're correct. I don't think we missed anything in that.
I can knock on the window here with our man over here, Dave Wright, and see what's going on, but I got 1-0.
Yeah.
So tell you what, you keep announcing. I'm going to check next door.
Why don't we do that just to make sure
I'll
we're
be
correct.
right back.
All
Maybe
right.
I'll grab a hot dog on the trip.
We'll bring 2.
Mustard?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We like our dogs with mustard and relish.
Got him.
All right, so Esko, top half of inning number 3, have their 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Christensen, Haugen, and Surdich. 3 hits on the board for Esko. And Pat Barrett's going to run over and make sure that we do have the correct score. As Connor Pierce held up at third on that pop-up from Marshallonis. And curveball just misses off the outside corner now. 2-1 to Christensen. What'd you find out on your little saunter?
I found out that the hot dogs are as good as ever, and it's only 1-0. They're going to make the correction on the scoreboard.
Fly ball center field off the bat of Christensen. Tracking back a few steps, and Gage Onenson has a beat on that one and puts it away. Good fundamentals, using 2 hands to make that catch. So Christensen, who had singled in his first at-bat, will fly out to center field here in the second. And Cale Haugen, who Schmelz was able to get one to roll over to second baseman Urbach for a force out. And here's another high pop-up in the infield. Kovash can't handle it. And again, nobody covering second. Haugen will try to advance. Alertly, the left fielder, Gavin Griffin, picked up the ball. It was a race between Haugen and Griffin to second base, and Griffin was able to beat Cale Haugen, put down the tag, and get Haugen trying to advance to second base on that pop-up. But another infielder struggling with a Gallo ball here at CHS Field. You watched Kovash from the get-go. His feet were moving all over the place, so nobody comfortable.
When's the last time you had a left fielder unassisted tag?
7U is how we'll put it in the book, but it's a big out for Perham. Certainly figure you're going to get the out on a high infield pop-up like that, but Kovash couldn't get underneath it. It fell to the ground, but great hustle by Griffin. I also watched second baseman Urbach was hustling over there to back it up as well. You never know if that ball doesn't ricochet off of the glove of the fielder, or in this case, you pick it up off the ground and try to tag out the runner who aggressively was trying to take that extra base.
They're really alert fielding on the play, because second baseman from the get-go was hustling over there, Urbach, and again, ready for who knows the way the wind's been swirling in here. It was a great hustle play by the left fielder to come all the way and then spot that he had a chance to make the tag at second.
2-1 offering is lifted out to right field. Colleton goes back, and unconventional as it may have been, it is a 1-2-3 top half of the third inning. And let's go ahead and take a look at some highlights from Boston's 3-2 win in the Class A championship game.
Head on a swivel over there, like a middle linebacker on the football field.
And a beautiful curveball, called strike 3 as Bushi drops that over, and the inning is over. 2-0 pitch. That's hit right back up the middle. Could be 2. Steps on the bag for 1. Relay over to first. The inning is over. Truckenmiller steps on the bag over to Meyer. 1-2 pitch, ground ball. And goes out to third baseman's glove. Jack Klingfoot said a run's going to score, and Foston's going to strike first. 1-0 here in the curveball hit the opposite way. Right to third baseman. It could be 2. Back to first. They got him on a double play. A liner to Aaron Norland.
Defense is in tight, and that one's popped out into shallow right center field. Running, making the catch. Runner coming home. Here's the throw at the plate. Not in time. As that one's driven out into center, camping, and here comes the first run for LP as Hunter Vadir across. As Norland drives that one into right center field. That's going to drop. Insurance run is going to score. Norland digs for second.
Pitch. Hit it the opposite way. This should end it. First baseman gloves it, steps on the bag, and your champions in Class A are the Foston Greyhounds. 11 steps on the bag. The celebration begins. Not the first time that Foston's been the state, but they're bringing home their first championship with a 3-2 win over Lyle Pacelli.
All right, exciting first championship game in the books. Foston survives a bases-loaded situation in the ninth and holds on to beat Lyle Pacelli 3-2. They'll take a state championship trophy north. We're going to send another state championship trophy north. It's just a matter of if it's going to go in the trophy case of Esko or in the trophy case of Perham High School. Right now, we're locked in a good one here. 1-0. Esko leads it, and Dylan Marshallonis faces Seth Urbach, and as he's done through the first 2 innings of work, just pounding that strike zone ahead of Urbach. No balls and 2 strikes as Urbach fouls that one back and out of play. Tries to go upstairs there on the number 9 hitter, see if he can't get Urbach to chase something up and out of the zone, but good discipline by Urbach. 3 of the 4 strikeouts recorded by Marshallonis have been 3-pitch variety, and that one's about a 58-foot variety. Bounces in. Hip does a nice job of blocking that one. That's the way you make friends with a home plate umpire, is to block that ball even with nobody on base.
Yeah, you don't want to duck out of the way on that one, or you're never going to get a call.
No, the home plate umpire does what any good umpire would do, saying thank you by cleaning the plate off and giving Hip just a couple of more seconds to compose himself. So now we're ready at 2-2, and here's a high pop-up in the infield. Let's see how Esko handles this. It's the second baseman, Pierce, who does a little bit of a Texas 2-step, but then settles his feet and puts it away. So Pierce did a nice job of getting his feet set underneath that one and putting it away, so no wind issues for the sophomore second baseman, Connor Pierce, for Esko. And they get out number 1 here, the top half of the inning, or the bottom half of inning number 3. And Gavin Griffin steps in. Griffin, who made that very good alert defensive play from out in left field. As you mentioned, Pat, the rare 7U put out in the book.
I've done a lot of ball. I've played a lot of ball. I've never seen a 7U.
Well, welcome to the Minnesota State High School League Baseball Tournament when you think you've seen it all. Swing and a miss by Griffin. So the second consecutive time, Dylan Marshallonis is able to set down the leadoff hitter for Perham. The 8th grader Gavin Griffin on strikes, and boy, when he gets ahead, he really likes to hit that outside corner. He went outside there, and Griffin couldn't catch up to that fastball, and Strikeout number 5 here for Marshallonis. A little off-speed pitch there to Blaze Schmidt. So let's see. Marshallonis now, who has set down 6 consecutive batters in a row, but it's Blaze Schmidt, who nobody has been able to set down here in this state tournament. One way to try to do it is to get ahead, no balls and 2 strikes, as a foul tip to the glove is held on to by Hip. So advantage Marshallonis here. No ball, 2 strike count. Schmidt lifts one foul down the right field line. That's going to ricochet around in the seats down there. So fans scattered all around this CHS ballpark field, and unfortunately, like professional baseball, when you retrieve that ball, you put it right back in play. We can't afford these high schools to give away free souvenirs. Schmidt spins away from a fastball, so Marshallonis tried to bust one in on the hands of Schmidt there, but good discipline at the plate by Blaze Schmidt. Looks at that one off the outside corner, so 2-2. You don't get on base 10 of 11 times without having very good plate discipline.
You can see he's moved up in the batter's box. He's right on top of the plate, so he's ready to protect that outside corner pitch that Marshallonis has gone to so effectively so far with 5 strikeouts.
Schmidt doing a good job here as his first 2 Perham batters, and that one clips the inside corner. Called strike 3. So 3 of the last 4 strikeouts for Marshallonis have been of the called variety. We are through 3 innings of play. Esko leads it 1-0. We'll come back for the top half of the 4th inning. Pat Barrett will take over lead vocals for you. Beauty set up here in this one. 1-0 Esko. Head to the top of the 4th and come back here to CHS Field after this.
Welcome back to CHS Field on a beautiful Friday afternoon. It's Championship Friday here in the Minnesota State High School League State Baseball Tournament. Class 2A action. And we've got a good game going on here as we enter the top of the 4th inning. Pat Barrett, Ron Osterman, so glad you're joining us. Got a host of thousands working behind the scene. Mike Peterson over here, the king of the Saints baseball, running the board for us. Esko with a 1-0 lead as they step to the plate in the top of the 4th inning. Ignore the scoreboard out there. It's had 2 runs up since the 2nd. They only have 1 across. So we're waiting for the change to be made on the board. But Esko leads it as Perham is out in the field to start our top of the 4th inning. And that pitch from Schmelz way off the corner for ball 1.
We got 2 battles going on here right now. Esko against Perham, and then a whole stadium against the scoreboard operator, who refuses to change that to just 1 run.
That one's hit deep to left center field. It will carry over the center fielder's head all the way to the wall. Stumbles a little bit. He's headed for third base, and he's going to make it. Sliding in, a leadoff triple for Bryce Hip, the catcher for Perham. Insurance run standing down at third base after he hit a rocket to left center. Center fielder Anundson went back on it, just couldn't quite get to it. Rolled all the way to the wall. He stumbled a little bit, and that was enough for Hip to make it all the way to third base with a leadoff triple.
That ball rolled right underneath the 402 sign out there in left center field. Anundson hustled to get to it. They had the double cut set off, but the cutoff throw to the shortstop Kovash was a little bit low, and it snuck by him, and though even Hip hesitated slightly around second, took off for third and was easily able to get in when that throw was a little bit low to the cutoff man Kovash. So,
even if he had handled it, I don't think they would have had him at third base. The little bit of stumble out by the wall was enough, and he was running the whole way. So man on third, nobody out. Top of the 4th, off-speed pitch on the corner for strike 1. Finn Furch at the plate, strikeout victim in the second inning.
The way Marshallonis is dealing, Perham will bring the infield in here, try to cut this run off in just the top half of the fourth inning.
It's a huge run the way that Marshallonis has been throwing so far. He's got 6 strikeouts in the ballgame through 3 innings, so Perham definitely looking to cut this run off at the plate. They're inside the baseline at all 4 infield positions. Outfielders still deep at the corners, in a little bit in center field and shaded towards left. That's where the wind is blowing as that off-speed pitch is in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to count, or 1 ball, 2 strikes rather the count now. Nobody out in the Esko fourth.
Furch's job here, get the ball to the outfield anyway, anyhow.
That one's on the corner, strike 3. 3rd strikeout in the ball game for Austin Schmelz. 1 out here in the Esko fourth. And that'll bring up the number 7 hitter in the order, DH Bobby Thornton. Reached on an error, and the first baseman, he had a rocket down the right field line off of Detloff. They called it an error, made it to second base, and came in and scored on the RBI single by Connor Pierce to give Esko their 1-0 lead. That one on the corner for strike 1.
Yeah, Thornton drove in the only run of the game in a 1-0 victory over St. Agnes in the quarterfinals for Esko. It was an RBI groundout that brought in the game's only run. A little chopper up the first baseline that allowed the base runner to come in and score from third base.
Coach Ben Haugen had him step out of the box, gave him some new signs. We'll see if a possible contact play or maybe a squeeze play would be on, but that's strike 2 over the inside corner. So no balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the Esko fourth. Looking to add that insurance run. The board says 2, but it is only 1-0. Esko over Perm here in the state championship games. That one's ripped back to the screen. We stay 0-2.
Yeah, I think Schmelz is glad to get a baseball back after that one. A lot too much of the plate for an 0-2 pitch there to the left-handed batting Thornton.
He took a good rip at it, just missed as he fouled it straight back. 0-2 off-speed pitch just off the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outfielders medium deep, shaded over towards right field and center. They're still going to have a hard time throwing him out from that depth if he hits it that deep. That's on the corner, another called strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Schmelz, 2 outs in the fourth. It'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Connor Pierce. He has the RBI in the game, a slicing single to left field that plated Bobby Thornton with the run in the ball game. Pinch runner going in at third base.
Yeah, Noah Wells, I believe, will come in as the courtesy runner here for the catcher Hip. So with 2 away, they'll let Hip go in and start putting that equipment back on to catch. And so Noah Wells, the senior outfielder, will be the courtesy runner at third for Hip.
Interesting that Coach Haugen didn't do it right away with a catcher. Usually they'll give him the chance to mess. That one sliced to left, but left fielder's got a beat on it, reaches up, and Griffin tucks it away for out number 3. So leadoff triple, stayed there the whole inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left here in the Esko fourth. 3.5 in the books. State 2A state championship game. The score: Esko 1, Perham 0. Back with more after this on the Neighborhood Sports Network.
Join our team while supporting yours. The all-new Neighborhood Sports Network, NSPN.TV, is looking for camera operators and broadcasters for our live game streams. The atmosphere of sporting events can't be beat. Be a part of the action with flexible scheduling and guaranteed game rate pay. If you're a student or adult looking for an opening into the world of sports media, or to just make a little extra cash, send us an email at jobs@nspn.tv. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome back to CHS Field. 3.5's in the books, and it's a 1-0 Esko lead. We still haven't figured out why the scoreboard hasn't been updated yet, but it should be 1 run on 5 hits for Esko. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for the Yellow Jackets as they come to the plate here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
I've seen all 3 of Perham State tournament games, and I know gambling's not legal. It didn't pass through the legislature, and you can't gamble on high school sports anyways. But I would have bet a lot of money that run wasn't going to score from third with nobody out, the way Perham has been able to just dance around all sorts of problems on the base paths by their opponents through this state tournament. And you know what? It's a 1-0 game halfway through here, and Perham is right in this state
Got them right where they want them.
game.
Trailing,
Exactly.
stranded a bundle already as they come to the plate here in the bottom of the fourth. Heart of their order, Ben Szymanski, Evan Kovash, Gage Anundson, 3-4-5. One's fouled away. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. I was telling you earlier, Ron, this looks like the Boston Strong unis of the Red Sox playing the old-style Pittsburgh Pirate vest uniforms.
Absolutely. It looks beautiful out there on this great field here at CHS as well.
Fly ball to the right center field. Going back on the ball out there is Haugen. He circles underneath it and tucks it away for out number 1 here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Hit pretty well, but the wind hung that one up, and Haugen able to circle underneath it and put it away for out number 1.
So through each of the first 3 innings, 2 strikeouts for Marcialona. So just 1 out with the ball put in play. Szymanski hit that one fairly well out in the right center field, and now for some reason
ball got out of the bullpen out there, so tossing it back in. Somebody playing out there in center with something.
I thought he was running out to the Field of Dreams, and the next thing we know, where'd Ben Haugen go?
It's too early to get out there in the cornfield yet. Only 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth, and it's Perham. First pitch right in there for strike 1. Evan Kovash said batted .515 in the regular season, walked in the first inning, was on with 2 on and 2 out, and a grounder to first by Anundson ended that rally for the Yellow Jackets. Off the corner, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the fourth.
Yeah, right about at his average, 4 for 8 here in this state tournament, 2 RBIs, walked in his first at bat.
Feels bad when your average drops and you go 4 for 8 at the state tournament. I had softball last weekend in Mankato, and the pitcher, Jessa Snippus for Rosemount, batted .617 coming into the tournament. She hit like 600 in the tournament. Average went down.
That's good in slow pitch softball, Pat.
That's really good. Called strike 2 on the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to shortstop Evan Kovash, Gage Anundson in the end next circle waiting for his turn. Not many runners so far for the Yellow Jackets. Marcialonis in control, and there's strike 3. And Kovash knew it as he turned and headed straight to the dugout. Strikeout number 7 in the ball game for the junior hurler from Esko.
And 4 of the last 5 of the called variety. So I think he's really found a good rhythm with that home plate umpire on that outside corner. And Marcialonis is just pounding that spot of the zone.
We'll see if the batters are going to adjust here, because that is his spot. As that one's fouled back to the screen. 0-1 now the count to Gage Anundson, the junior center fielder. First base unassisted on the ground out to end the rally in the bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, they're really the only one. Blaze Schmidt, he came inside on the inside corner, and Schmidt kind of gave a look of despair to the home plate umpire, like, no, he can't do that. He's got to keep working the outside part.
9 in a row retired here by Dylan Marcialonis, as Perham bats in the bottom of the fourth inning, trailing 1-0 in 2A state title ball game here at the end of the season in 2023. Swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the count on the center fielder. If he's able to get on, Austin Schmelz, the pitcher, is in the on-deck circle waiting for his chance to hit. That one's looped to right field. Going back on it to second baseman. He'll call off the right fielder. Nice catch by Pierce. 3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the fourth inning. 4 complete in the books, and Perham still trailing Esko 1-0.
Yeah, you don't get here by accident, obviously, but 3 games in 4 days, and you've got a pitcher like Dylan Marcialonis still in your arsenal. Set down 10 straight Perham batters here. Got to feel awfully good if you're Ben Haugen, be able to still have that sort of an arm to throw. But then on the other side for a Perham, it's been Schmelz, who's danced around a little bit of trouble as well, but he's got his team still right in this ball game, just down by a run.
The key is he's only given up 5 hits, but a couple of those have been windblown. On top of it, hasn't walked anybody, 4 strikeouts. So he's thrown plenty well, and really they make the plays behind him. We'd still have a scoreless ball game, I think, at this point, after the tough luck error on the first baseman, but a ball he could have handled. And that's the only run of the ball game.
Yeah, right. Esko take advantage of that. And again, we talked about that vaunted offense of Esko coming in. But, you know, again, you get to the state tournament and you're seeing a whole lot different competition than what you're probably seeing through your conference and then your section play. As mentioned, they outscored their opponents 59-11 in just rolling through that Section 7 2A championship. But things get a whole lot different as far as the pitching that you're going to face here in this state tournament. Left-hander Adam Weber held him just to 1 run for St. Agnes. Faced another lefty in the semis and saved for the 1 big blow off the bat of Sertich. They really haven't gotten a ton of offense going based on what they did during the regular season in section play.
Certainly, if you're going to get here in baseball as opposed to fast-pitch softball, you can live off of 1 pitcher. You're not going to make it to the state tournament off of 1 pitcher with the pitch count rules in our state now. So, leadoff hitter is Dylan Marshallonis, 9-1-2 in the Esko order here to start the top of the 5th inning. They lead it 1-0. Came in 26-1 on the season, champions of 7-2A. Taking on the Yellow Jackets, 24-3, the champions of 8-2A. Another Northern title will be in the books after this one, as that one's bounced foul. Game 1 today, it was Foston, a 3-2 victory over Lyle Pacelli. So the North doing well so far in this baseball state tournament to finish off the season 2023.
Perham finding themselves here in the state tournament championship game as an unseeded team, but they had to think to themselves, 22-3. What do you have to do to get a top 5 seed in this Class 2A tournament? That's a pretty good record through the regular season and section play to be an unseeded team. So obviously baseball seeds don't quite mean the same as, you know, in basketball or some of the other team type sports.
Line drive between third and short, and there's a base hit for Dylan Marshallonis as he helps his own cause. A leadoff single to start off this 5th inning. We'll see if he's going to run. Looks like we got pinch runner heading down there. Number 9 for the Esko Ball Club is Owen Wilson, so he will run down there for Marshallonis. Did it in the 2nd inning after the double by Marshallonis, and he will return to pinch run again here in the top of the 5th inning. We'll see if he's going to be thinking about stealing second. As we said early in the ball game, haven't stolen many bases this year. 9 for 14, I think you said something like
they
that?
are 14 for 19.
14 for 19,
yep.
So not many when you talk about 27 ball games on the season. But we'll see what's happening here. It's already a 1-0 Esko lead. Runner on first, nobody out. Top of the order, Sam Haugen at the plate. Right in there for strike 1. Haugen 0 for 2 in the ball game, flew out to right, struck out swinging. He's 0 for 2.
Should be good speed for Wilson over there at first. He's scored 18 runs, having just 11 at-bats on the season for Esko, so kind of the courtesy runner expert.
Shows bunt, lays off it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count to the leadoff hitter Haugen. Ty Christensen in the on-deck circle, 1 for 2 on the day. Ready to hit next.
Yeah, you wonder how much small ball Esko really had to play this season, scoring double figures 16 times, averaging 11 runs a game.
I'll bet not a whole lot. Runner going. That one's inside. Fumbled away by the catcher Szymanski. Stolen base for Owen Wilson, and he's standing down in second in scoring position. Ball was in the dirt. They're putting up strike on the board. I mean, I thought it was a ball, but we'll see what the home plate umpire shows. Hands up, yep, 1 ball, 2 strikes the count.
Hey, the scoreboard got something right, Pat.
Yeah, still shows 2-0, but it's 1-0 here in the top of the 5th inning in our championship game in 2A. 3A and 4A to follow at 4:30 and 7:30 here at CHS Field. Checks the runner, checks again. Here comes the pitch. That one lined towards short, underneath the glove of shortstop Kovash. Center fielder's got it, fires to the plate, up the line. Not going to get him. Wilson will score. RBI single I believe we'll see what the official score says, but that one was ripped to the left of the shortstop. Kovash couldn't come up with it. I would have certainly called it a hit. And now they update the runs to 3. I'm telling you, this is a 2-0 ball game. As Wilson comes around to score the second run. Haugen RBI single. And Esko leads it 2-0. Hard down to second base on the throw that came through from the center fielder. Anundson up the line. No chance for Shermansky to make the tag. Ty Christensen at the plate, 1 for 2 on the day. That one's off the corner, ball 1.
Yeah, hard hit ball off the bat of Haugen there. Got out into center field, and I think Anundson, you know, you want to make a play in the state championship game, but really right there, no chance to throw that runner out, and gave that free base to Haugen by throwing it all the way through to the catcher, Szymanski. Now the double play not in order. Force is taken out, so again, got to compose yourself and try to make the right play there.
Detloff at first, playing in front of the bag. He's up there just in case it's a sacrifice bunt. Third baseman Schmidt even with the bag at third. 2 balls, no strikes, the count to Christensen. Schmelz checks. Here it comes. That one low. 3 balls, no strikes, the count.
First base
hasn't walked anybody.
open.
Yep. So maybe trying to set up the double play, but certainly not intentionally, it doesn't look like. 3 balls, no strike. Here comes the pitch. That one off the corner. 4-pitch walk. Coach Mulcahy comes out of the dugout. He's going to head out to the mound. So runners on first and second. Nobody out, top of the 5th. 1 run already in for Esko, and they lead it 2-0.
You certainly understand the strategy. You want to set up the force, but 3, 4, and 5. Cale Haugen, he of a .550 batting average coming in. Isaac Sertich, 347, 33 RBIs on the season. And then Bryce Hipp, who tripled in his last at-bat. So certainly putting another base runner on for the heart of this Esko lineup. And not to say that Schmelz did the intentional, unintentional walk, missing 4 times there. He may have been trying to throw strikes, but a little bit rattled after giving up, a run and a couple of hits here to start the top of this inning. But right now, Perham's really going to have to wave that magic wand in this inning.
Runners at first and second, nobody out. 2-0 Esko lead. That one's off the corner, ball 1 to Cale Haugen State coming into the state tournament. .550 batting average, 10 home runs on the season. Outfielder shading towards right field, out in center, probably a good 10 to 15 feet. As that one's on the corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Good off-speed pitch there from Schmelz, trying to keep Haugen off balance. Infielders playing way over shortstop. Now sliding a little bit back towards his position, but definitely shading up the middle. That one's ripped to left center, and that one's going to get all the way to the warning track. Might get to the wall. 1 run in. Here comes the second around third base. Haugen digging for third. Stand up 2-run triple. And they busted it open here with 3 in the top of the 5th inning. A 4-0 Esko lead off the 2-run triple from senior Cale Haugen.
A second triple of the game for Esko, and what a big one that one was. They had him shaded over to pull. That one, ball was hit almost to dead center field. It kind of sliced a little bit over towards left center. Anundson went over and picked it up in front of the Chuck and Don sign out there in left center, but not before Haugen had a 2 RBI triple.
Again, the wind blowing in from right field, so it probably even helped that ball tail even more away from the center fielder, Anundson, but he really had no chance on it. The way he was playing out in right center, that ball slicing away. Hey, he got it before it even hit the wall, so it was a great hustle play, but not in time. 2-run score, now 4-0 Esko lead. Bounced up the middle, handled, checks the runner at third, and will get the out at first. Nice play by Schmelz. 1-3 on the putout, 1 out here in the Esko 5th. Again, 3 runs in and a 4-0 Esko lead.
Yeah, Cale Haugen looked a little bit like Shaggy or Scooby-Doo running away from one of the ghosts on Scooby-Doo. Had his feet all turned, and then he slammed the brakes on and tucked those feet underneath and scampered back to third base to not get caught in a rundown between home and third. And potentially another run there with just one out now. Smart base running by Haugen.
Good play by Schmelz. He checked, but I don't think he would have taken a perfect throw to get Haugen going back into third. So he got the out, one away, infield still in with one out, and the runner at third base, that one's on the corner to Bryce Hipp for strike one. Hipp led off the fourth inning with a triple to left center, but was stranded there after Schmelz struck out two, got a fly out to left to end the inning. But right now a 4-0 lead for Esko as they look to add on. That one's fouled back, so quickly ahead, no balls and 2 strikes with one out in the fifth. Outfield playing plenty deep after the triple off the bat last time up. Fly out to center his first time up, so he's 1 for 2 in the ballgame. Shading a little bit towards left field, the wind blowing that way, so the ball will carry towards the corner. That one just off the corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tried to pull it in there, did Szymanski, but umpire did not give the strike call.
Great 0-2 pitch there. The outside corner has been called. Those batters know that, so it took some real discipline by Hipp to not chase that one out of the zone.
Foul back to the screen, count 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the fifth. Perrin continuing to try and dodge bullets here. Runner at third with nobody out. They've gotten 1 out here in the fifth. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Bryce Hipp, the catcher for Esko. Junior standing in against the junior Schmelz. He hits that one high and deep to left field. Should be deep enough to get the run in. Settling underneath it is Griffin. He'll throw it to the cutoff man. No chance of getting the run. Sacrifice fly for Hipp and a 5-0 Esko lead. The number 1 seeded Esko team in control right now.
Yeah, now starting to see why they score all those runs. Just good fundamental baseball there. Haugen doesn't run into an out off of that ground ball back to the pitcher. Stays at third, behind in the count. Hipp just patient and gets the ball to the outfield for the sacrifice fly. Drive that run in and increase that lead.
Finn Firk comes to the plate, the junior right fielder. Strikeout victim in the second, strikeout victim in the fourth. He's 0 for 2. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch on the way from Schmelz. Swinging, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes now the count to Firk if he's able to get on. Bobby Thornton waiting in the on-deck circle, the sophomore DH. But no balls, 2 strike. The pitch on the way from Schmelz. That one's off the corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitchers keep working that one a little bit more, it seems like, with each pitch.
Yeah, that's certainly reading off of that home plate umpire on this game. Work that outside corner. You know the hitters have to be thinking about that.
Low and inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Deuces wild here for Esko, and they've been rolling them here in the fifth. 4 runs in and a 5-0 Esko lead. Loops that one to right field. It's going to drop over the top of the second baseman Erbach in front of Colleton. Single for Firk with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. He's standing down at first base, and it'll bring up the DH Bobby Thornton. Reached on a hard hit ball off the glove of Detloff. Reached second base, scored the first run of the game off the RBI single from Connor Pierce. Called out on strikes in the 4th. He's 0 for 2, but he has scored a run in the ballgame. Standing down at first base is Firk after his looping single, and there he goes. Throw through to second, not going to be in time. Stolen base for Finn Firk. He stands down at second in scoring position. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to the lefty Bobby Thornton. Connor Pierce on deck waiting for his chance to hit. As Esko is rolling the dice well here in the 5th, they've got 4 runs across. Runner at scoring position with 2 outs. That one off the corner, 2 balls and no strikes.
So much for no running game for Esko. Now stolen base by Wilson, the courtesy runner, and here a stolen base for Furch. So when they need to run, clearly they do have that in their arsenal as well.
Pitch in there for a strike. Off-speed pitch. Looked at, so runner stays at second. 2 outs. A 4-run rally here in the 5th inning is added to the lead. It's now 5-0 Esko as Schmelz checks the runner. Delivers. Fouled away into the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs again.
Good pitch there. Got in on the hands of Thornton. Not really a whole lot Thornton could do with that pitch other than just foul it back to the screen.
He's given up 9 hits in the game so far, but a couple of those were tough luck hits. I think he's pitched a pretty good ball game, but this powerful Esko lineup has now gotten to him here in the 5th. Steps off the rubber and checks the runner back to second base. Finn Furt with the stolen base. He's got a big lead off a second.
And they say hitting is contagious, and we're kind of seeing that here. Much more confident at-bats by Esko once they got on the board here.
That one fouled towards the third base dugout. It'll go out of play and stay at 2-2. I watched this the other day here in the semifinal with Edina and Rosemount. Luke Vitt for Edina had been just handling that powerful Rosemount lineup. They're the #1 seed in 4A. Will play at 7:30 tonight against Eastridge for the title game. But walked 3 batters, and all of a sudden the floodgates opened. They put together 5 hits in a row. Got a couple of runs, 1 off an error, and all of a sudden 10 in the inning. And there's a liner to right field, base hit. That's going to bring in the 6th run of the ball game for Esko. Right fielder Colleton throws it into the cutoff. No chance at the plate. RBI single for Bobby Thornton, and a 6-0 lead now for Esko. And you're right, here's that powerful lineup.
Yeah.
And it is contagious. The bats have come alive here in the 5th.
And just like that pitch to Haugen, Schmelz is starting to miss up in the zone a little bit, and this Esko team is going to take full advantage of that. I had looked out in the bullpen, and number 17, Cullen Poole, was throwing out in the bullpen for Perham, but it looks like they potentially are going to bring, it's going to be number 17, Poole. I thought they maybe called the left fielder in, but I looked out and all 3 Perham outfielders are gathered out there having a discussion. So it will be the left-hander, senior Cullen Poole, who will take over here on the mound for Perham.
So Poole on relief with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. 4 2/3 pitched by Schmelz. We'll see if more runs will be added to his tally. So far it's a 6-0 Esko lead with 5 runs here in the 5th. They got the first run of the game unearned in the 2nd inning. An RBI single by Connor Pierce plated Bobby Thornton, but they've tagged on 5 here in the top of the 5th inning and broke this championship game open.
It was easy to keep track, even though they had a 2 on the scoreboard. You knew there was 1-0, but now with Esko starting to tack a couple more runs onto the board here, it is a little bit more confusing to have that 7 up there when it is only 6-0. Certainly need to get out of this one with no further damage, because the way that Marshallonis has been dealing for Esko, Perham doesn't want to fall any further behind.
Cullen Poole comes into the ball game regular season 2-0 on the season, pitched 9 1/3, 9 hits, 5 runs allowed, but only 3 earned, a 2.25 ERA, struck out 9 and walked 7. So don't want to be walking any in this instance. They're already behind 6-0. As the 9th hitter here in the 5th inning, Connor Pierce steps to the plate. RBI single in the 2nd, plated Thornton. A line drive to end the 4th inning to left field. He's 1 for 2 in the game, and he is the 9th hitter in the order for head coach Ben Haugen. That one sliced towards left. It's going to go foul. No balls and 1 strike to count. Ben Haugen, his 22nd season at the helm for Esko, looking for victory number 285 and a state title here in the 2023 baseball season.
Similar to that RBI single that Pierce had in the 2nd inning, just kind of dropped the barrel of the bat on it, trying to lift it out into left field. Griffin is really shaded over that direction and shallow in left field.
That's where I'd be playing him, having watched the last couple of at-bats for sure. Said he had a single to left center, lined out to left, and again, the left fielder Griffin definitely shading towards left field line. 1-1 on the way. There goes the runner. Throw down. Sliding in head first and safe is Bobby Thornton. So again, they've got the running game. Their regular season just not much need to use it. At 26-1 on the year, they've got all parts of their game working here today.
Yeah, 4 hits, a walk, 3 stolen bases here in this 5th inning.
That one slowly hit. Pitcher Poole handles it, throws to first. Detloff has it, and that will end the 5th inning. But not before 9 batters come to the plate. I've got 5 hits, a walk, a couple of stolen bases, and a 6-0 Esko lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, what are they going to do now?
Esko fans have been waiting for that inning. They were able to see Esko get multiple runs in the bottom of the 4th in their semifinal, but it really all came off of one big blow, the grand slam home run off the bat of Srdich. But right there, we kind of saw what looks like Esko exhibited all season long, just stringing the hits together, running the bases. They get the walk to Christensen to get their leading hitter in Cale Haugen, and he delivers with a 2 RBI triple. That was the catalyst for that 5-run 5th inning. Now can Marciulionis come back out after sitting in the dugout for that long and continue to throw strikes? 10 straight Perham batters retired. He'd love to keep that streak going and get Esko three outs closer to a state championship.
It is tricky having been a pitcher in the old days. When you sit that long, you do lose some of your rhythm off. And pitching, I pitched in baseball and in slow pitch, and I can tell you, sitting that long, you've got to get back in the groove again. So we'll see if it affects him, as he has 10 straight retired, only allowed 1 hit in the ball game and 1 walk, struck out 7 so far. The junior will face 6, 7, 8 in the order.
In the 4th, just the 1 inning that he didn't have 2 strikeouts. Struck out 2 in each of the first 3, and then struck out Evan Kovash in between a flyout from Szymanski and a pop out from Onenson.
So Schmelz leading off, hits it off the handle to short. Fired over to first base. Cale Haugen to Kazel, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. So Schmelz did hit, even though Poole was sent in to pitch for him. Hit it off the handle, slow grounder to shortstop. 6-3 on the putout, 1 out, bottom of the 5th. 11 in a row retired. And Ashton Detloff, the first baseman, comes to the plate. A ground out to second and his only at bat.
So Schmelz must have re-entered there, so we're going to have to see a new pitcher for Perham in the top of the inning. Poole will get the 1 out to get out of that inning, but that will likely be the end of his day on the pitching rubber.
Right-hander in the bullpen for Perham warming up, so we'll see if we can get his number. But he will come on to pitch the 6th inning as that one's high. 2 balls, no strikes. Now the count to Detloff. Brock Melgard in the on-deck circle, the number 8 hitter in the order, waiting for his chance. They need a big rally here, the Yellow Jackets. They trail at 6-0. Off the glove of the third baseman, hustles, picks it up, fires it over. Isaac Srdich, great play at third, knocked it down, picked it up, spun around, fired a bullet to Kazel. 5-3 in the putout, 2 outs here in the 5th. Great play at third base.
Yeah, and the challenge there is spinning around. You've seen that ball get thrown all over the field after you make that play, and you think you have to hustle maybe more than you do. You spin around, you probably have yourself a little bit dizzy, but Srdich fired an absolute strike over to Kazel at first for out number 2.
No balls, 1 strike. The count to Brock Melgard, the DH, called out on strikes to end the 2nd inning. That one inside, 1 ball, 1 strike now the count. Outs running out here in the Yellow Jackets. They're down to their last 7 outs. They trail at 6-0 here in the championship game in Class 2A. We'll have the award ceremony for you. Championship and runner-up medals and trophies handed out, so stay tuned for that here in the Neighborhood Sports Network. 2 more ball games to follow here. The 3A championship will pit Montevideo against New Prague. And then it's Rosemount and East Ridge in the championship of the 4A to wrap up the 2023 season here in the Minnesota State High School League. As we wind down the spring sports season, lacrosse finishing up this week. All the golf, boys and girls, finishing up. next week we've got the Trap State Tournament coming your way. Not track, but trap.
I've been fortunate to call the award ceremony the last 2 years out there, and what an unbelievable event that is out there at the Minneapolis Horton Gun Club down in Prior Lake.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs off the handle. Foul to the screen. It'll stay at 2-2.
I was telling somebody earlier that last year they had 6 different players shoot 100 for 100 in the individual competition, and one of the team members from the winning team went 100 for 100 in the team competition. So 200 for 200 in clay. I do some pheasant hunting. I can tell you, I've never been close to 200 for 200 shooting a shotgun before.
The pheasants are happy to hear that.
They are very happy to hear that.
2-2 pitch coming from Dylan Marshallonis. He's pitched a masterpiece so far today. And that one catches the batter, Melgard. He'll jog down to first base. First batter hit. 1 walk in the ballgame. 7 strikeouts so far for Marshallonis. It'll bring up the number 9 hitter in the order, second baseman Seth Urbach. He popped up to second, his only at bat.
I just don't remember seeing this as much back in the day in baseball. So many players getting hit by the pitch. Anything that comes inside, they just kind of stand there and let them hit it and take their base. I remember when I played, I was scared to death of being hit by a pitch. Do anything to try to get out of the way.
I'm betting the pitchers throw a little bit harder, and nowadays too, you're right, but the batters have been crowding the plate right on top of the plate, protecting that outside corner, so I guess it's just an expectation it might come inside on me.
Yeah, but you usually see them dance out of the way or spin, but if it comes inside, they just kind of let it hit them and take their base.
Called strike 1 from Marshallonis, delivering to Seth Urbach. If he's able to get on, we're back to the top of the perm order, and they're going to need everything they can get out of that top as he throws over. Easily back in is Melgard.
Unfortunate way to have a streak of 12 consecutive batters retired. Hit a batter with a 2-strike count.
We'll see if it's the break that the Yellow Jackets need, but Urbach swings through that one. No balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Beautiful Friday here at CHS Field in downtown St. Paul. Pat Barrett, Ron Osterman, so glad you're joining us for baseball action here as we wrap up the 2023 season. That pitch fouled back. It'll stay in 0-2.
What a partnership we've gotten now with the State High School League here on the Neighborhood Sports Network. So much exciting state tournament action. And now looking forward to the summer, state amateur baseball coming up, and we've got all of those games for you across the network. So really been an exciting year here on the Neighborhood Sports Network doing this coverage.
That off-speed pitch hit the left field, sinking liner, diving, couldn't handle it. It'll drop in. I would think they'd call it a base hit. Good effort there by Christensen. Ty dove for the ball, just went off the tip of his glove. So 2 on now. They're going to call it a hit on the scoreboard. So down at second is Melgard. Urbach on at first with a looping single to left. It'll get us back to the top of the perm order. Gavin Griffin, the 8th grader, struck out in the first swinging, struck out in the third swinging. He's 0 for 2, 7 strikeouts in the ballgame for Marshallonis, and he'd like one now to finish off this 5th inning. Swinging strike 1.
If there's anybody out there who's counting Perham out right now, I'm going to tell you from experience, do not do that.
They haven't watched the Neighborhood Sports Network here in the state
They did not
tournament.
watch their quarterfinal or semifinal games if that's the case.
1 ball, 1 strike now the count to Griffin. If he's able to get on, Blaze Schmidt will come to the plate. He's reached base 10 out of 12 times in this state tournament. That one on the corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and there is that wide outside corner that you've got to crowd the plate and protect with the umpiring. It's been consistent, but that's the strike they're giving, is that outside corner. A 1-2 pitch from Marshallonis on the way. Swinging strike 3. So another chance here. They had 2 on in the first. They get 2 more on here in the 5th, but cannot capitalize. No runs, 1 hit, a hit batter, 2 left on base, 5 complete in the books. The score here at CHS, Esko 5, Perham nothing. We head to the 6th here on NSPN.TV.
Yes to 54. Good thing about going to college through McDonald's is it's totally free for me. And everything is through the Archways opportunity, so I don't have to pay a single dime about my school, and I'm getting educated. By working at McDonald's, I have learned a little bit about human resources, inventory, and my time management too.
Text APPLY to 38000 or visit mcdonalds.com/careers.
CHS Field in downtown St. Paul. Pat Barrett, Ron Osterman, a host of others behind the scenes bringing you the great baseball action here at the 2023 State Baseball Championships for the Minnesota State High School League. And we are here in the top of the 6th inning. Perham out in the field. They've pulled off magic in the quarterfinals and semifinals. They knocked off the number 3 seed Foley 7-4 in the quarters. A 3-2 win over the defending state champion number 2 seeded Fairmont Cardinals. But today, nothing so far magically working for them. It was 1 in the 2nd, an unearned run for Esko. They tacked on 5 more in the top of the 5th. They lead it 6-0 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. It's 9-1-2 again. Marshallonis, Haugen, and Christensen. And if somebody reaches, it's Cale Haugen who will come to the plate.
So going to have a pinch hitter here. Ty Rooney will bat for Marshallonis. And Poole was back out there. I hadn't noticed that they sent Urbach out to right field where Connor Colleton was playing. Colleton was the defo, the defensive player being hit for by the designated hitter. So Poole could stay in the game as Schmelz remained in the batting order in that 6th spot when he went back to right field for Colleton.
So pinch hitter to start off the 6th inning. That one's going to be off the corner. 2 balls, no strikes now the count. As Kel Berglund stands in for Esko. Pinch hitting for Dylan Marshallonis. He's going to go down to first on a 4-pitch walk from the lefty Poole. So a pinch hit walk to start off the top of the 6th inning for Esko. They already lead it 6-0. And we go back to the top of the order. Sam Haugen comes to the plate. The center fielder 1 for 3 in the day, scored a run in that 5-run 5th inning. Flew out to right, struck out swinging his first 2 at-bats. Big lead down at first base. They've put the running game in action today. As Poole delivers high for ball 1, 5 straight to start this 6th inning.
Yeah, Berglund, the senior, getting an opportunity to get an at-bat in the state championship game here for Esko.
Throw over to first. Ticks off the first baseman's glove, and he'll head down to second base. Detloff goes after it, but he's not going to get him. Sliding into second is Berglund. So I'm guessing error on the pitcher, probably on the throw. Dave Wright, I'm sure, will step into the booth and let us know. But runner down at second now with nobody out.
Well, Poole is trying to take credit for him. He patted himself on the chest looking at Detloff saying, that one's on me. Not a good throw over on the pickoff attempt.
And they had Berglund frozen. Nice block at the plate by Szymanski. Keeps the runner at second base. 2 balls, no strikes. Now the count 6 straight balls to start the 6th inning from Poole. So he's been throwing wide and high this whole inning, whether it's to first or to the plate. His error on the throw sends the runner down to second base. Berglund, who pinch hit, 4-pitch walk to start the 6th. That one's inside, 7 straight and a 3-0 count. Now the leadoff hitter, Sam Haugen, not a great strategy if you're already 6 runs down.
So after sneaking through the quarterfinal round with a 1-0 game, it's been the big inning here for Esko. They got 6 in their semifinal win to get here to the championship game, and then 5 big runs in the top half of the 5th has them with a very comfortable 6-0 lead and runners on the base paths here.
Bounced foul, 3-2 now the count to the leadoff batter, Sam Haugen in the lineup. Ty Christensen to follow. Cale Haugen waiting in that dugout with his .550 average and 10 home runs. Would love another chance to hit. He's got a single and a big triple in that 5-run 5th inning.
Again, a security down the left field line, and he's standing in play, and that ball chopped towards him, and all he did is take one step, let it ricochet off the wall. So apparently he's not being paid to field foul balls. He's being paid to provide security, and that's what he's doing.
So back-to-back walks to start the 6th inning. He looks pretty comfortable down there out in the sun. Mulcahy will go out to the mound. He's got a right-hander warming up in the bullpen, and he's going to bring him on. So that'll do it for Cullen Poole's day. 1/3 of an inning in the books for him. He'll leave here in the 6th with 2 on, nobody out, and Esko on top 6-0.
He was able to finish off that top half of the 5th inning by getting the final out, but now you walk the number 9 spot in the order and the leadoff hitter, and suddenly you're facing an Esko lineup of Christensen, Cole Haugen, and Isaac Sertich with runners on base, and really not being able to afford to give up any more runs to this Esko team, as they've got just a couple of more at-bats against Dylan Marshallonis, who to this point has really been effective for Esko through the first 5 innings. So right now the hope is to get out of this one unscathed and try to chip away at this deficit in your last 2 at-bats. And this never say die Perham Yellow Jackets team certainly looks like they might be on a little bit of life support right now and trying to come from an unseeded spot in this Class 2A state tournament and make a run all the way to a state championship. But they've got a lot of work to do if they want to pull that off here at CHS Field in the state title game against this vaunted Esko offense.
So Omar Brasino on in relief of Poole. 2 appearances on the regular season, 1-0 on the year. He'll come on in relief. Pinch runner down at first base, senior Tyler Salmella will run for Sam Haugen. So Coach Ben Haugen getting some players in state championship action here. He's got a 6-0 lead on the board, and looking to add more with back-to-back walks to start the 6th inning for Esko and their powerful lineup.
Yeah, good to see him getting these seniors out here. Cal Berglund got a chance to pinch hit. He got on base. Now the sophomore Sam Haugen will give way to another senior, Tyler Samella.
So Ty Christensen steps to the plate, the senior left fielder. Singled to left in the 1st inning, flew out to center in the 3rd, walked and scored in the big 5-run 5th inning. He's at the plate with 2 on, nobody out. That one off the corner, ball 1. Perham Yellow Jackets having trouble finding the plate here in the 6th inning. Starting pitcher Schmelz only walked 1 in his 4 2/3, but since then the relief pitching struggled to find the plate. That one in there, swinging strike 1, 1-1 the count. Again, approximate 4:30 start time for our 3A state championship game in the Neighborhood Sports Network. It's Montemita, number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 1 seed New Prague in state championship action. Bunt, missed, fumbled. See if he calls it a foul ball. It was. So the bunt fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The runners will go back to 1st and 2nd. And again, the final game of the 2023 season is the 4A state championship game, approximately 7:30 tonight here at CHS. It's the number 1 seed Rosemount, 19-6. They'll be taking on Eastridge, the number 2 seed, 19-8. So great baseball action to follow this one. Got a timeout call and a balk. So a balk on Brasino will move the runners up to 2nd and 3rd base. Still nobody out here in the 6th.
Yeah, Brasino came set there, and he put his hands apart slightly, put them back together, followed through with the pitch, but I think he knew what he had done there, and they aren't going to sneak that by 3 umpires out here. State championship level umpires.
For sure. That curveball's off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes now infield in at all 4 spots. They got to cut off any run they can here. Already trailing at 6-0. Sano's pitch. Grounded foul. We stay at 2-2.
Security officer feigned as though he was going to try to maybe make a play on that ball, but just put the hands back in the pocket and lean back against that railing. Lets Griffin take care of that baseball out in left field.
Again, awards presentation to follow here in the Neighborhood Sports Network. Trophies and medals handed out to both teams here in the championship game. That one sliced towards right. It's going to go foul and out of play. We stay at 2-2.
Yeah, Southridge, the #1 seed in Class A, was beaten in the opening round by Belgrade Bruton El Rosa, but the #1 seed in each of the other 3 classes, Esko here, New Prague in 3A and Rosemount in 4A, have been able to make it into the championship game.
That one's hit towards center field and right center. Coming in the right fielder making the catch, throw to the plate. Runners are going to hold. Nice block at the plate by Szymanski as Cowaton threw it all the way through to the plate. 1 out on that fly ball to right center. It'll bring up Cale Haugen. Cale 2 for 3 in the day. Line single to left center and a big line drive to left center again in the 5th inning. Plated 2 runs. He scored also in the big 5-run 5th inning that broke this championship game open. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. The pitch on the corner for strike 1.
Yeah, up by 6 runs. No reason to take a chance there. And then, doing your scouting, that's Austin Schmelz, the starting pitcher. So you know he's got a strong arm. So good move by Ben Haugen to just hold the runner at 3rd for his #3 hitter to bat with the bases loaded.
Again, Shane towards right field. Fielded at 2nd. No play there. Flip it to the pitcher covering. We're seeing now 4-1 on the putout. RBI will go to Haugen. 2 outs here. They plate the run. Salmela will advance over to 3rd base, the pinch runner there. Berglund will score as the pinch runner to make it a 7-0 lead now for Esko. 2 out in the inning, and it will bring to the plate Isaac Surdich. Surdich on the day 0 for 3, popped to 2nd, line to right, and grounded back to the mound. First pitch in there for strike 1. Bottom half of the inning, 2-3-4 in the Yellow Jacket order, and they'll need a whole lot more than that as they trail at 7-0 here in the top of the 6th. 0-1 pitch on the way. That one's lined to right center, and nobody's touching that one. That one will land. Run comes in to score. Digging into 2nd base, and he'll go in standing up. RBI double for Isaac Surdich. Will plate another one. As the #1 seeded Esko Ball Club looking for victory number 27, and they are in command now with an 8-0 lead.
Yeah, you can just see that confidence was continuing to build with each at-bat for Esko here, and now a couple of triples, a double in the game, so we've seen the running game put into play, so really all of the offense that Esko has shown all year and averaging 11 runs a game on display here in this state championship game against Perham.
Having been a ball player for a long time, it's hard to put your finger exactly on it, but you know once the bats start rolling on a good team, you just feel that confidence and that wanting to be part of that when you come up. Where sometimes I swear you couldn't get a hit if they had no fielders out there when the pitcher's going well and the wind's blowing in your face, but today the bats have come alive here.
Yeah, and every ball just misses a glove by a foot, or every ball finds a gap. It just seems like that's the way it works when things start to roll the wrong direction for you defensively.
1 in the 2nd, 5 in the big 5th inning, and 2 more tacked on here in the top of the 6th. An 8-0 lead for Esko. Runner at 2nd, 2 out. That one's grounded foul by the catcher, Bryce Hipp. Fly out to center, hit a booming triple to left center in the 4th, and then a sacrifice fly in the 5th, another towering fly to deep left field, plated the run. He swung the bat well today, and that one's down the right field line, and nobody's going to get there. No matter if it's going to stay fair, and it doesn't, just foul. Again, the wind blowing in from right probably affected that ball and kept it foul.
Again, right there, you know, that was not a well-hit ball, high enough, but it just was in an area where the first baseman, the second baseman, nor the right fielder could just get there in time to get that third out, and Hip stays alive, and we'll get another pitch here, trying to bring in one more run for Esko.
It is the interesting part in a baseball season, which in Minnesota is so short with the weather we get in the spring. Is, you know, you get a couple of those to land, and your batting average looks pretty good. You don't get those in play, or somebody catches a few line drives, and your average can look really bad when you can be a really good hitter. You know, over the course of a 162-game major league season, they tend to balance out, but sometimes it just doesn't in a high school season. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch on the way. Big hopper to third. Fielded at third base. Long throw over in time. Nice play there by Schmidt. Waited on the big hop. Threw over to Detloff. 5-3 the put out. And 6 in the books here at CHS Field. 2 more runs tacked on by Esko. After 6 complete, the score. Esko 6, or Esko 8 rather. Perham nothing. Back with the 7th after this on the Neighborhood Sports Network. Welcome back to CHS Field, downtown St. Paul. Pat Barrett, Ron Osterman, and a host of others behind the scenes bringing you all sorts of good baseball action here at CHS. State championship in 2A, it's been all Esko. 1 in the 2nd, 5 in the 5th, 2 in the top of the 6th as Perham comes to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th, and they'll need every rabbit's foot they can find. Beat the number 3 team, seated here in the state tournament in the quarters, knocked off the defending state champions number 2 seed Fairmont in the semis, but have run in to the number 1 seeded Esko Ball Club, and they have shown why they are the number 1 seed, 26-1 on the season. They lead at 8-0.
Yeah, you try to go through Murderer's Row, 3-2-1. Very impressive for Perham to get here through that 3 seed Foley, who went on down into that consolation bracket, which was won by Belle Plaine here in Class 2A. Belle Plaine was beaten 10-3 by Fairmont in the opening game of this tournament, but they came back and won a couple of games, claimed the consolation championship, and then Fairmont, after suffering the tough loss to Perham, came back and won the 3rd place game.
Fly ball hit well to right center, but holds up in the wind out there. Sam Haugen will tuck it away for out number 1. 1 out here in the Perham 6. 2, 3, 4 in the order. Schmidt goes out. Ben Szymanski coming up, and Evan Kovash in the on-deck circle. 1 down here in the 6th.
Good run for Fairmont. 1st place trophy last year, 3rd place trophy this year. So the Cardinals continue to play good ball, but all of the top ball apparently took place in the northern half of the state in Class A and 2A this year, if you're going to go off of the state championship trophies, because Foston and either Esko or Perham, and Esko in great position here, are going to take the trophy north.
Beautiful play at second, the throw in time. Pierce goes behind second base. Marshallonis, the wiser, ducked out of the way of that bullet. But Pierce goes behind the base. Connor Pierce fields it, fires over the stretch by Kazel. 4-3 on the putout. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
I think we're seeing why Esko is the number 1 ranked and number 1 seed in Class 2A, doing it all, pitching, defense, and hitting. looks like it's going to potentially end up with a state championship trophy.
2 down here in the bottom of the 6th, and Ron is right. They have all facets of their ball game working today. 8 runs on 11 hits, no errors in the ball game for Esko. For Perham, no runs, 2 hits, 2 errors, and they looks like are just running into a better team today who's playing better. Not giving Perham any chances. They had 2 on in the first. Couldn't get the runs across there. Got 2 more on in their half of the 5th, but again, Barcelona's tough on the mound today. Only 2 hits allowed in the ball game. 1 walk. He's hit 1, struck out 7, and he has been in control from the outset. The big right-hander, that one off the corner for a ball. Left-hander Evan Kovac has had an unbelievably great season. MVP in his conference, all-conference player. Walked in the first, struck out in the 4th. He's 0 for 1. But an unbelievably great season. This has been a wonderful season for Perham. But today, just running into a better ball club in this Esko club, as they have hit, fielded, and pitched, run the bases well, and they're on top 8-0. Just 5 outs away from the state championship. Off-speed pitch, grounded to second, handled by Pierce. They'll fire over to Kazel, 4-3. 3 up, 3 down here in the 6th. Nothing across for Perham. 6 complete in the books here in the Class 2A state championship game. The score after 6, Esko 8. Perham nothing. Back with the 7th inning after this in the neighborhood.
Star Tribune covers high school sports as passionately as you live them. Don't miss a beat on the games you love. Check out Star Tribune all day, every day for the latest prep news, scores, and so much more.
All right, so Esko on the verge here, lead it 8-0. Our scoreboard operator still insisting on saying, I'm going to keep that 2 up there. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm sticking with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, I guess, is what our scoreboard operator is going to go with. But the 5 in the 5th and the 2 in the 6th are accurate numbers, and it all adds up to 8 runs in our scorebook. That's what we're going to go with. 9 runs, 11 hits, and Pat touched on it. 0 errors and a couple of excellent plays. Connor Pierce right there going behind second base to get Ben Szymanski. He had that hard line drive that was knocked down by Serdich, spun a full 360 and made a strike throw across the diamond to Kazel. So we've seen it all here from the number 1 seed, Esko, in this tournament. One more at bat. Braceno will be out for his 2nd inning of work here, and it'll be Furch, Thornton, and Pierce. Furch struck out in his first 2 at-bats, but then just stuck the barrel of the bat out and lifted one out into right field.
1 fielding change in the ball game. Tate Zacharias heads down to first base to replace Ashton Detloff.
Oh, there's a drive, deep left field, way back, and that one is into the bullpen and out of here. Finn Furch got a high fastball, and he lifted that one out just below the Parrot in the TreasureIslandCasino.com bullpen area out in left field. And maybe the one thing that we hadn't seen from Esko so far is now scratched off of the list. A home run off the bat of Finn Furch.
Take that one off your bingo card, Ron. That was a bomb.
Stolen bases, excellent defensive plays, great pitching, now extra base hitting, culminating by the leadoff home run in the top of the 7th. And the fans from Esko starting to anticipate here a potential state championship. But junior right fielder Finn Furch, who helped pitch them to this position by going 6 1/3 innings in a semifinal victory over Cannon Falls. adds an exclamation point here with a big home run over the left field fence, and it's 9-0 for Esko.
I'm sure your bingo card had that 7 unassisted tag play at second base too, so you can cross that one off.
It seems like when the major leagues run that program, you get your bingo card, and there are, your classic 9-6 putouts on there, and you go, how am I ever going to win this bingo? But yes, we have seen a 7 unassisted as well in this game, so you see it all here at the state baseball tournament, and you see it all here on our coverage on the Neighborhood Sports Network. As called, strike 3 into Bobby Thornton will be the first out here of the top half of inning number 7. So as you mentioned, the defensive change, so getting an opportunity for another player in the lineup to get out and play. And here's a line drive out into right center field. Drifting over is Anundson, and he's going to run that one down off the bat of, looks like potentially we had a pinch hitter there. Want to make sure we get that for you. So Trent Andrus batting for Pierce. First pitch swinging. Andrus, the junior, wasted no time going after that first pitch, and now first pitch swinging. Marshallonis hits one hard over towards Schmidt at third. That'll go off the glove of Schmidt out into shallow left field, and it'll be the 12th hit of the game for Esko. So Marshallonis not only doing it on the pitching mound today, but 3 for 3 with a walk. Make it 3 for 3 for Marshallonis. It was the pinch hitter Berglund who drew the walk in the 6th. But 3 for 3, and now they are going to change that scoring to an error on Schmidt.
Probably had to give the air, but I'll tell you, this infield is rock hard. You hit a top spin ball here, it's going to be hard to handle.
Yeah, that one got on top of Schmidt. That's why they call it the hot corner. Got on top of him in a hurry. And now it looks like we're going to get another pinch hitter coming up here for Esko. Noah Wells, the senior, is going to get an opportunity to bat here in the top spot in the order. Tyler Samella came in as a pinch runner for Haugen. But it will be Wells, who also goes after the first offering. So these Esko batters aggressive here in this top half of the 7th inning. Maybe they just want to get these 3 outs and let the celebration ensue. As I would assume we'll see Marshallonis out here to try to close out this complete game.
I'm thinking if I get my chance to pinch hit in the state championship game, I want to hit. Especially in a 9-0 ball game.
Take your hacks?
I'm getting up there and taking my hacks. I'll make Kirby Puckett look like a patient hitter.
Strike on the outside corner, and now that pitch misses down and away, but still battling here. Szymanski gets over there and blocks that one down. Keep that runner at first base, so you'd expect nothing less from Perham. Play hard all the way through. They certainly play the game the right way. And there's called strike 3 to Wells. So no runs in the top half of the 7th inning.
Had the home run.
Excuse me. They got the home run off the bat of Furch. So they do pick up the 1 run. They strand a runner at first base. And they will give the ball to Dylan Marshallonis to try to close this one out. He's got a 9-0 lead, and he'll face Anundson, Schmelz, and Detlef scheduled. Wouldn't be at all surprised to maybe see some pinch hitters for an opportunity to get an at-bat here for some of these Perham players, and maybe get a chance here to talk about some of the seniors playing their last game in a uniform. And for Perham, Dane Hellickson, Gamble By, Evan Kovash, Connor Colleton, Ben Szymanski, Austin Schmelz, Cullen Poole, Omar Braceno, and Mason Dole. So a number of Yellow Jackets putting their uniform on for the last time here at this state championship game.
Coach Mulcahy heading out to the home plate umpire, and it looks like he's got a pinch hitter to start the bottom of the seventh. Dane Hellickson, senior, will come up to hit the left-hander.
Yeah, one of the seniors here, Dane Hellickson. Get an opportunity to get at bat in the state championship game. So 9 seniors on this Perham Yellow Jacket team. What a magical run they have made here. They go through the Section 8 Class 2A tournament undefeated. Clearly beat a good Dilworth Glendon Felton team. We saw them in the state championship game of football. It was that Hail Mary play by New London Spicer that beat Dilworth Glendon Felton. So clearly good athletes coming through there, and Perham was able to beat them twice in that Section 8 tournament to get to the state tournament, knock off the 3 seed in Foley, knock off the 2 seed in Fairmont, and get a chance to play here at CHS Field in this championship game. So 9 seniors will see their Perham careers end today, and Dane Hellickson will have an opportunity to bat here as he swings through that offering.
Looks like senior Mason Dole in the on-deck circle. He'll pinch hit next. And think about it for Perham, their season, barring something miraculous, will end with 2 losses, both to Esko.
Yeah, that's
Lost
right.
late in the season, and that was their last loss before today.
Yeah, at one point they ripped off 14 consecutive wins this season.
Esko didn't lose a game, I don't think, till their last regular season game. I think Wadena Deer Creek beat them 2-0 in their last game of the regular season. So,
pitch just misses low to Hellickson. Even the count at 2-2. Jammed there, but does a good job of fighting it off and fouling it back. So 2 strikeouts in each of the first 3 innings for Marshallonis. 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. So 8 for the game for Marshallonis. Ground ball. Surdich plays it on that true first hop. Up and fires it across. To Kazel at first. So good at bat there. Hellickson battled. Hit it hard over towards third base, but Surdich was there. Take it on 1 hop and fired a strike. And we will get Mason Dolan now. And there's that strike on the outside corner. Boy, Marshallonis has lived out there today.
he has been in control all day with the 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit batter, only 2 hits allowed. Defense perfect behind him. There's a reason they're the number 1 seed.
Dolan swings and fouls that one back, and standing behind the dugout, the Esko faithful starting to anticipate every pitch. It ramps up a little bit more. Those applause. We've already seen 1 set of hats and gloves go flying and a state championship trophy awarded to Foston. Esko anticipating the opportunity to potentially do that themselves. They need just 2 more outs here as Marshallonis spins one off the outside corner, and there is that pitch. Why not? Clip that outside corner for called strike 3 against Mason Dolan. And Ashton Detloff will be the last hope here for Perham. You can hear the crowd starting to get revved up here off to our left behind that third base dugout of Esko, imploring Dylan Marshallonis to get 1 last out here. That's what stands between them and a Class 2A state championship, and what a magical season it will have been for Esko. 19 consecutive wins to start the season. They lose the final regular season game of the year to Wadena Deer Creek, roll through the Section 7 2A championship, outscoring opponents 59-11. Chopper, Pierce on the run, the throw, the tag by Kaiser is applied, and it is a state championship being celebrated out on the mound by Esko. They all stay on their feet. Boston went down to the ground and they did a hog pile, but here they'll just do a victory dance over towards first base, and why not finish it with a good defensive play. Sophomore Connor Pierce makes the throw over to Kazel. Kazel had to come off the bag, but he applied the tag to Ashton Detlaf, and the Esko season will come to a conclusion with the exclamation point of a state championship. Trent Andrus runs out, recollects his hat there. You don't want to leave that on the field. That's something you'll want to hang on to the rest of your life, the cap that you wore as part of a state championship team here from CHS Field.
Graduation cap, let it go. Baseball cap, I want that baby back.
Absolutely, that's going to go somewhere special, either on the trophy case or wear it to school the next day. But Esko, everything on display today here in a 9-0 victory over an upstart and game Perham Yellow Jacket squad that did everything you had to do to get here to CHS Field. And I'm sure their fans also on their feet congratulating their Yellow Jackets on a fantastic season. But today, everything on display for Esko. The pitching of Dylan Marshallonis. They get a couple of triples. They put the exclamation point on it with a solo home run from Finn Furch in the 7th, and it all adds up to a 27-1 season, just one blemish away from an undefeated state championship season. But that all matters not now, as they will line up and receive their gold medals and their state winning championship trophy, and we'll have that award ceremony for you here on the Neighborhood Sports Network. So Pat, number 1 seed coming in, certainly showed exactly why today here on the biggest stage.
For sure, Ron, you saw all parts of their game, and I'll tell you, having coached for a long time, that loss at the end of the season might be just what they needed, that we are not invincible. We need to keep doing stuff the right way. Like you said, as many runs as they scored all season, they got shut out by Wadena Deer Creek 2-0. So that might have turned the light bulb on and go, hey, we got to play the game the right way. And obviously they did for the bulk of the season, and a great state championship for them.
Yeah, so Two Harbors more Pine City kind of took the brunt of that. But
sorry
now,
you had to follow that one, huh?
Let's turn things over to our public address announcer, Lee Adams, for the awards ceremony.
Coaches Association. These students have distinguished themselves by their athletic excellence, leadership, team commitment, and exceptional sportsmanship. Presenting awards on the field, our tournament director, Bob Madison, Associate Director Eric Martins, and board members John Vra and Susie Guttmuller. And now, the Wells Fargo All-Tournament team from Belle Plaine, Ted Hone. From Cannon Falls, Jack Myers. From Fairmont, Lincoln Becker. Also from Fairmont, Nate Salter. From St. Agnes, Aiden Walsh. From Perham, Evan Kovash. Also from Perham, Blaze Schmidt. From Esko, Cale Haugen. From Esko, Finn Furch. And from Esko, Dylan Marshallones. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 All-Tournament team. Please join Wells Fargo and the Minnesota State High School League in congratulating these athletes and all of the students who participated in this year's baseball tournament. And now, silver medals and the second place Class AA Perham Yellow Jackets. Please step forward to accept your medal as your name is announced. Gage Onenson, Seth Urbach, Dane Hellickson, Campbell By, Gavin Griffin, Ty Rooney, Evan Kovash, Connor Colleton, Ashton Detloff, Ben Chemansky, Austin Schmeiss, Brock Melgard, Braden Anderson, Drew Ellingson, Joey Ecker, Cullen Poole, Omar Briseño, Blaze Schmidt, Tate Zacharias, and Mason Dolan. Head coach James Mulcahy. And assistant coaches T.J. Super and Alec Meyer. Congratulations on an outstanding year and an outstanding tournament to the Perham Yellow Jackets. And now, gold medals and the championship Class 2A team trophy are awarded to the Esko Eskimos. Please step forward to accept your medals as your name is announced. Tyler Samala, Ty Christensen, Isaac Sertage, A.J. Kazel, Cale Haugen, Sam Panger, Cal Berglund, Caden Grayson, Owen Wilson, Finn Furch, Bryce Hip, and Noah Wells, Dylan Marshallones, Connor Pierce, Sam Haugen, Bobby Thornton, Amos Halverson, Leo Luenzi, Jackson Peterson, Trent Andras, student managers, Talon Kaminsky, Declan Sullivan, head coach for Esko, Ben Haugen, and assistant coaches, Tom Zabachnik and Dave Furch. Also assistant coach Carter Northey. Ladies and gentlemen, there they are, your Class 2A state champion, Esko Eskimos!
All right, so we talked about the seniors for Perham playing their last game. 8 Esko seniors will go out as state champions. Tyler Samala, Ty Christensen, AJ Kazel, Cale Haugen, Cal Berglund, Caden Grayson, Owen Wilson, and Noah Wells will finish their career as state champions. Pat, number 1 seed in the tournament, certainly showed why today, and they will bring that state championship trophy back to Esko.
The North is feeling good so far this afternoon. No doubt about it. Foston in Class A, Esko in 2A. We've got 2 more games coming your way here on the Neighborhood Sports Network about 4:30. It is Montemedi taking on New Prague, and then to follow Eastridge and Rosemount to wrap up our state tournament coverage.
Yeah, privilege and an honor for us to bring you all of this exciting action on the Neighborhood Sports Network. A cast of thousands helping us out do it today. All comes to a culmination here in the Prep Championship Series at CHS Field, and the team from Esko, Section 7 2A champions, now state champions, show why they were the number 1 ranked team and the number 1 seed in this tournament, as they are able to bring home the state championship with a 9-0 victory over Perham here from CHS Field in St. Paul. So as mentioned, 2 more exciting games to go. Hope you can join us for the network on those. But for now, from CHS Field in St. Paul, for Pat Barrett, this has been Ron Osterman reporting for the Neighborhood Sports Network from CHS Field. The team from Esko is your state champion in 2A.
NSPN.TV, in partnership with the Minnesota State High School League, brings you coverage of the 2023 State Baseball Tournament. Coverage is made possible by the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction, transforming lives. By your local McDonald's owners and operators, offering competitive wages, paid time off, and tuition assistance. And by the Star Tribune, your home for the best prep coverage.